Right. So without further ado, welcome to the PhD info session. So I hope that you are interested in joining the Department of Bioengineering as a graduate student. Let me introduce our team here. So you know already me. So I'm Associate Head for Graduate Programs, and I'm joined by two very talented ladies, Sarah Lane and Leslie Bowman. Ms. Sarah Lane, she's a graduate program coordinator and academic advisor. And Ms. Leslie Bowman, she's assistant director for Bioengineering Master in Engineering program. So this is the other program that we'll briefly discuss. But today we'll focus on the graduate programs, so including PhD and master programs in the Department of Bioengineering. At the end of this presentation, we'll also have the questions and answer session. So if you have any questions, so please do wait until there will be a Q&A session, or you can also post your questions to chat, and then Ms. Sarah Lane will actually provide those questions to me at the end of the Q&A session. So welcome to our presentation. So just tell you a little bit about where we are located. So we are located in the Midwest. So we are in the center of the triangle between the large cities, Chicago, St. Louis, and Indianapolis. So we got pretty good connections. As you can see, there's a good network of roads and highways, and also the trains, and also we got the airport. So we can fly from Champaign to Chicago or to Dallas in Texas and find connecting flights. We are a university town, so it's about 200,000 people in the twin kind of like cities of Champaign and Urbana, and we have also several nice amenities in addition to university. So we got nice gardens. We do also have some nice parks around. Very vibrant downtown of Champaign, which was in last couple years remodeled and revitalized, where you can get good food and also good clubs and good to spend good time. And we also have the Krennert Center for Performing Arts, which is the kind of a cultural center where we welcome also the plays, symphonic orchestras from Chicago and St. Louis area. So it's a very nice kind of nice town with many amenities which are good for faculty, for the students, and so on. So, but going back to our department, so here at Bioengineering at Illinois, so we developed the innovative engineering technology and quantitative methods to address actually grand challenges in human health and sustainability. And a couple of years ago, we come up with this kind of motto of engineering for life, which very well actually presents what we are doing here. So we'll talk about more specific about the research that we do. Then I will also present our program and also talk a little bit more about additional kind of information regarding our department. But let's start with a little bit of history. So our department has been founded in 2003. This year we got the 20-year anniversary of our department. The first chair of our department was Bruce Wheeler, and followed by Michael Insana, Rashid Bashir, who is right now the Dean of the Granger College of Engineering. And right now, since 2019, our head of the department is Professor Mark Anastasio, the expert in AI and machine learning technologies. As you can see from this graph, we have a lot of experience and also history of the studying the effect of ultrasound in biological systems. Paul Lobelter, who was here the faculty in the Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering in 2003, so he received the Nobel Prize for the MRI, so magnetic resonance imaging. And as you will see in the from the future slides, the imaging is one of the very vibrant research track among several others that we offer to our students and also faculty. So by numbers, if you're interested in numbers, so we got around 18 tenured or tenured track faculty. This number changes every year with the, so we are growing as a department. So we are attracting and hiring new faculty each year. So we have 5 non-tenured teaching faculty. We have 6 research faculty and a very large group, over 60 affiliate faculty from different departments. That's actually shows that our department is highly collaborative. Our faculty, they are collaborating with different faculty from other departments and the colleges. And this also presents an opportunity for graduate students to be involved in this interdisciplinary research that we'll talk later. Right now we have over 30 terminal master students, or almost 100 PhD students, and over 300 undergraduates, all kind of majoring in bioengineering. For the last couple years, so our new home building is Everett Laboratory. It's a historical building which was renovated for over 2 years with the cost of over $50 million of renovations. Right now, it's a beautiful building, permanent home for the faculty, researchers, students, and staff. But several of our faculty, they also have the research labs as well as graduate students. They have the offices in other buildings across the campus. Some of them, they are in Beckman Institute, some of them in IGB, Institute for Genomic Biology, and so on. But when we look at the facilities, which are located in Everett building, we have access to JAMP Simulation Center, where we can simulate different clinical scenarios using the equipment, which is typically used by physicians in hospitals. We have the biomedical instrumentation lab, physiology instructional lab, the cell and tissue engineering lab for undergrads. It's also available, the senior design and prototyping lab. And the new building is well equipped with the active learning classrooms, as well as the faculty research labs, including the wet labs, as well as the computational labs as well. When we look a little bit broader beyond the Everett building, our students have, and faculty, they have access also to other facilities on the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign campus. Several of those are listed here. So typically these are the research institutes which are focused on team science, such as Beckman Institute for Advanced Science and Technology, Institute for Genomic Biology, Holoniak Micro and Nanotechnology Lab. We also have access to Materials Research Laboratory, which is focus on providing the access to the core labs for material characterization. We are also home for the Cancer Center at Illinois, which integrates several of our faculty in the department and also students who are interested in studying the cancer. And the National Center for Supercomputing Applications. So this is the access to supercomputing resources as well as the clusters. And I showed actually here the logo. Probably many of you don't know what it is, but this is the logo of the first browser, internet browser, so-called NCSA Mosaic, which was developed actually at National Center for Computing Applications in 1992. So long story of those innovations in computer science as well. As a Department of Bioengineering, we have several strategic partnerships because we serve as a conduit for multidisciplinary research and collaboration. So we are the people who are contacted by other faculty who wants to collaborate in the domain between engineering and medicine with the promise to transform actually medicine. Many of our senior faculty hold prominent leadership positions within the campus community. Our former dean, head of the department, Professor Rashid Bashir, so he is right now the dean of the Granger College of Engineering. Professor Mark Cohen, the dean, he's a core faculty for bioengineering and also the dean of the Illinois College of Medicine. So, and Professor Bargava, he's a director for the Cancer Center at Illinois. So several of our really prominent leadership positions belong to the bioengineering professors. So talking about the partnerships, so one of the logical partnerships is the Illinois College of Medicine. So this is actually the world's first engineering-based medical school. 16 out of 28 BIOE faculty hold appointments with the College of Medicine. And we also have 3 kind of prestigious positions of the Health Innovation Professorships. Several of our tenure and tenure track faculty are course director for the College of Medicine, which they direct the modules or they teach in the college. Many of our faculty, they also have the key roles in the College of Medicine in committees. And again, for example, Mark Cohen, he's a core faculty in the bioengineering and also serves as a dean of the Illinois College of Medicine. So a very strong partnership with several opportunities for students as well as the faculty. And definitely many of you, if you end up here at Illinois, you will be collaborating with the faculty and physicians in the interdisciplinary research focused on how to improve the medicine through the technology. Another partner is the Cancer Center at Illinois. Again, this is a research institute which fosters basic science and engineering innovations to study the cancer, including diagnostic and the treatment. It's led by our BIOE Professor Rohit Bhargava. Right now, we are waiting for the National Cancer Institute designation. So this will be one of the very few cancer institutes with the NCI designation and one in last 20 years which will receive such a designation. Why I'm including the Cancer Center because, you know, in addition to, of course, the Cancer Center is led by our faculty, but it also provides several educational opportunities for the students, graduate students and postdocs, including the Cancer Scholars Program, as well as the T32 training grant for Ph.D. students. And several of our Ph.D. students right now are actually receiving the funds from the training grant and are included or engaged in the cancer research as well as educational opportunities which Cancer Center at Illinois provides. Several of the research, cancer research is focused on immunotherapy, for example, the biosensors, including graphene-based biosensing, infrared spectroscopic imaging, single molecule techniques or flow technologies, as well as the multimodal molecular imaging. Another kind of not the partner, but I think one of the elements of our department which really supports innovative engineering education is that we are growing very rapidly. So the growth of BIOE undergraduate degree students, so right now we got over 300 undergrad students. We introduced the new Master in Science degree in Biomedical Image Computing. So this is a very strict program focused on the AI and machine learning in imaging. We established a graduate certificate for AI in medicine in collaboration with the Illinois College of Medicine. We are expanding our professional master engineering program. So we have 2 actually programs. One is in campus or in person, and the second is fully online. And we are also developed the undergrad degree in neural engineering, and we are right now also hiring the new faculty who will participate and be engaged in those programs. So for those students who are interested in entrepreneurship, as well as starting the startup companies, so the University of Illinois is very known for its vibrant research park, which is located on campus. And it provides actually, or is a technology hub for corporate research and development operations and startup companies. So there are over 120 companies which employ the students and full-time technology professionals. It's a very good, actually, place for doing internship, if you are interested in internships during your graduate program. And the Enterprise Works, which works together with the Research Park, is a startup incubator which supports programs, organizes workshops, provides the space for the startup companies or startup groups, and also the tools for companies to use. Several of those resources are listed here. For example, SBIR resources, which include training and workshops, how to prepare the grants for NIH, or other SBIR funding to get this kind of like a funding for your startup. There is also a program of the Entrepreneur in Residence, which kind of provides also the resource to the companies and the startup teams. There is a funding program, iStart Seed funding program, as well as the Enterprise Works provides the workforce development programs. So it's a very good place actually for those who are interested in performing research, which has some connections with the industry, or if you are interested in forming the startup company. But of course, when we talk about the PhD programs, so it's all about research, right? So our faculty members, research and teaching professors, as well as the graduate students in the Department of Bioengineering, are engaged in this cutting-edge research, which is focused on those kind of research tracks. So right now we have 6 research tracks, including bioimaging at multi-scale, biomicro and nanotechnology, computational and systems biology, molecular, cellular and tissue engineering, synthetic bioengineering, as well as the education, BME education. So, so the students, the faculties are kind of working across all those themes and also across all those domains. Very collaborative environment. This is actually what brought me here to the University of Illinois. So when I came for the first interview, I was really impressed by the almost borderless collaboration between different groups. People are very welcoming. The faculty are very responsive. So let's talk more about the overview of the PhD MS program. I know that many of you are interested of what it includes and what is needed for the admissions, for example. So let's start with the admissions. So the admissions deadline is always December 1st of each year. When we talk about some requirements, so GPA, for example, the successful applicants, typically they have GPA above 3.5 on the scale for which the 4.0 is A. The minimum GPA of 3.0 is actually for graduate applicants, which is required by the graduate college. When we talk about the GRE scores, so GRE scores are fully optional. You don't need to submit them, and they are not required for the admission decisions. In case of the international students, the English proficiency tests, TOEFL, are required for all applicants who have attended the school in the country where English is not the primary language, or whose native language is not English. And again, there are some questions in the survey that we sent before this meeting. Some of the question also regarding if the Puerto Rico citizens or Puerto Rico residents, they need to take the TOEFL score, and per graduate college, it's not required. Other criteria, so definitely we have the admissions committee, which weights actually decisions heavily on the research experience, personal and academic statements. So we try to understand why you are interested in bioengineering, and this should be included in your personal and academic statements. And also it's very important for our decisions are the letters of recommendations from either your research advisors or the lecturers or the people who know you in terms of your abilities and skills. Again, those letters of recommendations needs to be on official letterhead and needs to be signed. So please make sure that in the application, when you send the applications, you ask your references for the letters of recommendation, which needs to be on official letterhead and also signed. So when we talk about different approaches to enter the PhD program, generally graduate programs, so of course we have several options. Those probably most of you will be interested in PhD program, which takes about 5 years. And again, the students are admitted to different research labs, which are kind of focused on the research within the research tracks, which are listed here. And generally, the PhD program prepares future bioengineering leaders in academia, but also industry and government. Other programs, including the Master of Science in Biomedical Image Computing, it's much shorter program. It takes 3 semesters, but it's efficient and very rigorous training focused on the intersection of biomedical imaging science, high-performance computing, and machine learning. So this is to address the needs of the industry. And if you are interested in doing some research in artificial intelligence and machine learning in imaging, so this is the program which kind of prepares you for the industry jobs, or prepares you also for the graduate programs like the PhD programs. And finally, we have also the third program, which is the 2 semesters, so very rigorous, very intense program of Master of Engineering and Bioengineering. As I mentioned before, we have 2 those programs. One is on campus with in-person instruction, and also the fully online. And we have several concentrations: general bioengineering and bioinstrumentation. And it provides a technical and managerial careers in the healthcare industry. So the unique part of this program is that we are collaborating with the School of Business, and also the faculty from School of Business provide or lecture, give the lectures on how to use, for example, business skills in bioengineering. If you are interested more about those programs, so I highly encourage you to go to bioengineering.illinois.edu, and under the tab academics, so you can find actually those programs, the description of the graduate programs, several of them which we cover and will cover today. So when we go to more specific information about different programs, so some of you have the question if it's possible to enter a PhD program with the bachelor degree. And of course, it's possible. So many of our students, after getting the bachelor degree, they join our PhD program. So this is the longer program. It takes about 5 years. It requires 96 hours of the curriculum, which is divided right now in the core curriculum, the technical electives, and as you can see, the majority is the focus on research credits because it's a research program. So in between taking the core curriculum classes, technical electives, and also performing research, there are several of the milestones that I will explain in the next slide, talking about the qualifying exam at the end of the first year, then the preliminary exam, and finally the final exam with the defense. However, if you have the MS degree, so you can be admitted to the PhD program as a stage 2 student, which means that we'll take under consideration your master degree, and the requirement to finish with a PhD degree is 64 credit hours. Again, it includes several of the credit hours of core coursework, technical electives, and also the research credits. Again, all those students are also required to take the qualifying exam, preliminary exam at the end of the year 3 or 4, and then going to the final exam and defense. And finally, we also have the MS program, which is the thesis program. So there's a mistake on the slide here. We don't admit the students for a non-thesis master program, but with the thesis program, so there is a program which requires 32 credit hours. Again, it involves the core curriculum classes, technical electives, and also a little bit of the research, about 4 credit hours. And the requirement is to complete the master thesis to get the degree in bioengineering. When we talk about the PhD program, especially for those students who didn't take or didn't get the master degree, so they are admitted as a stage 1 students with a bachelor degree. So it's possible also to get the master degree along the way towards the PhD. So for example, many of the students, including some of the students in my group, when they select, for example, after second year to get the master degree and continue in the PhD program. So when we talk about the core curriculum, so some of you are probably interested what it involves or what kind of classes they are. So right now the core curriculum involves graduate seminar, seminar discussion, bioengineering professionalism, and also the classes which are focused more on analytical methods in bioengineering and computational bioengineering, which includes the biostatistics. There is also the selection of core electives, including bioinstrumentation classes, quantitative biotechnology, systems bioengineering, cancer nanotechnology, stem cell bioengineering, and we also have the whole group or list of the other electives, which are available, and you can, for example, look at those electives or the list of those electives using the link here at the bioengineering.illinois.edu. When we talk about the milestones of the PhD program and also the timeline, so the first year, so after finishing the several of the core classes, you will need to take the bioengineering qualifying exam. So the bioengineering qualifying exam involves scheduling the examination with the bioengineering qualifying exam committee, which consists of 3 faculty members representing research tracks that your research is focused on. And typically it's between the summer and the fall semester after the year 1. This is the oral exam with a Q&A session and research presentations. Typically, it involves the presenting of 2 research papers, which are selected by the committee. So those kind of papers are associated with the research that you do, or generally with the track, which are track specific. And the intent of this exam is actually to assess the students' knowledge of core bioengineering principles, to evaluate the research progress, and also test your presentation skills. There are 2 attempts allowed, so you can either pass or fail. In case of failing the qualifying exam, you have the opportunity to retake the exam within the next 12 months. So after this first milestone, after passing the bioengineering qualifying exam, after 3 years of research, you can schedule the preliminary exam. Typically, students after year 3 or after year 4, they are scheduling preliminary exam, which has both the written and oral components. In case of the written component, it's a NIH-style grant application, and the oral component is the 60-minute presentation of your research. So again, the intent of this examination is not to assess the core knowledge of or the knowledge of the core bioengineering principles, but really to evaluate your research progress and your plans to finish towards the PhD degree. Typically, the thesis committee or dissertation committee will ask you the questions during the 60-minute presentation. And there are 3 different options. You can either pass, you can fail, or defer the decision, right? So for example, the committee can ask you to, for example, take the exam one more time, and there will be this option for deferring the decision. And finally, so there is a final exam and also defense, both public and also in front of the thesis committee. Typically is after year 5. So this is a typical duration of the PhD program is about a little bit over 5 years statistically. And ends up actually with the oral defense of your dissertation and graduation with a PhD degree. So when we talk about the funding, I have also several other slides talking more about the funding strategy in our department, but we do provide to the bioengineering PhD students in their first year of enrollment guarantee of funded appointments for fall and spring, which includes the full tuition waiver, a partial fee waiver, and the stipend. So again, for 5 years, but of course, the students are also eligible for the summer support. But one of the requirements is that the students must remain in good academic standing and successfully perform the duties of their assistantships, which includes actually the progress in research. If you are not good academically, you don't perform well academically, or your progress it's not enough. So this kind of guarantee does not apply to you. So again, it's for good students who are performing their duties of their assistantships. I also wanted to touch base a little bit about the in our Department of Bioengineering, we are really committed to creating a diverse and welcoming and inclusive workplace. We promote women and minorities who are underrepresented in STEM fields. And I always talk to my students that really the science does not have the religion, does not have the gender. So we are all working together with different experiences, with different kind of backgrounds, but we all work together towards actually making this world better, right? To improve, let's say, healthcare, or to develop some new technologies or strategies which will help the humans at the end. So that's why we are welcoming everyone in our department. We create actually this very diverse and welcoming environment. And one of those kind of, it's evidenced by those statistics which are collected over the last 12 years, comparing different departments in the College of Engineering, and based on the total enrolled students, as you can see here in the graph, the bioengineering, it's really the leading in terms of the diversity enrollment, reaching around 10% each year. So we really welcome all underrepresented racial and ethnic groups as students. Beyond the classroom and beyond the research labs, we also organize the social events in the Department of Bioengineering. One of those, it's the Grad Appreciation Week, which is every year during the month of October. And this is probably the one single opportunity during the year that your associate head for graduate program will serve you the hamburgers, both vegan and regular hamburgers, and also the hot dogs. So I'm typically handling the grill, and then with the help of the staff in the department, we provide drinks and also the food to the students. Here you can also observe on the slide, there's photographs from the last year Grad Appreciation Week, where we have the groups of students. And for example, here we got the join us the Dean of the College of Engineering, and talking also to students about the life, about the future prospects, and also the plans. We also do departmental Halloween competition. So this is this year Halloween competition for the most scary the door of the office or the lab. So we finished actually, I think this week we finished the survey and also the voting. So I don't know even who won, but this is another opportunity to for the social event. And we also have over the year several other events, like a Taco Tuesday. During the BIOE reading day, we also have like a sweets for the students, and also the Anastasia Coffee Chat, which is attended by our head of the department, Professor Mark Anastasia, and also other students. So this is a general kind of overview of our program, and right now I'd like to start the Q&A session. So this is kind of paraphrasing the movie by Woody Allen. Everything you always wanted to know about bioengineering at Illinois, but were afraid to ask. So Thank you for submitting your questions. So we got this from the survey. So I prepared several slides with those questions. But at the end, if you have some additional questions, feel free to contact us or ask in the chat. So we'll be able to answer. So these are kind of Q&A or questions regarding the admissions. So let me, and some of you submitted those. So let me start talking or providing some answers. So can I join the PhD program in your university with only a bachelor degree? I think I responded to this, yes. So this is the kind of one of the traditional way that you can join PhD program. With a bachelor degree, you will be required to take 96 credit hours of the classes and also the research. Do I need to search for a professor to supervise my work before applying through the online portal? No, it's not required. It's recommended that you can, for example, read about the research, which is done by the given faculty that you are interested in, and contacting the faculty to, for example, introduce yourself. But it's not required, actually, that you will be searching for the professor to supervise your work, and you will know exactly that this will be the professor that you want to work with. Of course, in the academic statement and in the personal statement, you can mention about what research you are interested in, what faculty you are interested to work with. So we can always kind of contact the faculty and provide them with your application, or, for example, emphasize that you are interested in their research. What are the different research labs available? We don't provide this list. So every year it changes. It depends on the funding or the availability of the faculty. Again, our department is growing rapidly. So we are every year we are recruiting the new faculty. So that's why the best idea is really to contact directly the faculty or read about the research and get this information from them. Another question is about the as an applicant for bioengineering programs, what kind of background are you looking for? For example, would we still be considerate if we did not take a bioengineering class? If so, what are the other factors considered by the admissions committee? Again, you don't need to be a bioengineer to take the bioengineering classes to be admitted to the PhD in bioengineering, but you need to have some life sciences and engineering background. So we are evaluating this based on your submitted transcripts, what kind of courses, quantitative courses, but also life science courses you took. How did you do? But we also look at the research experiences. So, for example, if you are working in the research lab, so always it's a good idea to ask for the reference letter from your research advisor, which can describe actually what you did and how you performed. The evidence of the scholarship. So, for example, the publications, the abstracts, poster sessions. So that will be also another evidence for us to evaluate your kind of skills and also your how well you fit actually within our bioengineering program. Some other factors which I mentioned about the statements, both the personal and academic statements, about the letters of recommendation. Already mentioned this in the previous slides. So now let's switch to another questions which are more kind of related to research. So how the research projects, how are the research projects funded? Through department, PI, and external grants. Yes, so the great majority of our faculty, so they are active researchers, and they submit the grants applications every year, several of those grants. And so our research is generally funded by the external grants. So we are getting grants from NIH, from Department of Defense, from National Science Foundation, foundations, and etc. So if you are talking about how the research generally is funded, that's actually from the external, but also internal grants as well, or seed grants too. Are there any internships or industry collaborations the department has ties to? We do have some ties with the industry or industry partners, mostly through the MH program. But if you are interested in internships, for example, or industry jobs or industry career, so the best idea is to communicate this very quickly with your prospective PI, because PI can have actually the access to networks or to industry partners that they can introduce you to the careers and provide, for example, internships. How is the access to equipment, databases, or other necessary tools for research and coursework? So this is a great question, and I can tell you it's excellent. So we do have several, I mentioned to you, the strategic partners, including the institutes, which are available. So they work on the promise of the core labs, or this is the kind of strategy of the core labs, where you can have the access to state-of-the-art equipment without knowing even how to operate this, because many of those core labs are manned by the PhD level scientists, and they provide the expertise. Also because our department is within large school, so definitely if you are interested in the specific technology, specific equipment, definitely you will find it here. So this is the one of the things. So in case of the collaborations, how easy is to collaborate and how easy is to get the access to the resources which supports the collaborations. It's really one of the greatest value here at the U of I. What support structures are in place to ensure timely completion of the program? Again, we as a graduate program, so we, in addition to, of course, your PI or research mentor, we also monitor your progress. So both Ms. Sarah Lane and including me, so we are meeting with the students and kind of evaluate their progress and helping them, for example, in case of any problems in the lab or in the problems in completion of the program, help them to actually strategize, prioritize, and provide resources. How often are students expected to present their progress? Well, in addition to those examinations and the milestones that I already mentioned, this is really the decision of your research mentor. How the research mentor, so the different research mentors, they have, of course, different mentorships approaches, including like presentations in the research conferences, or during, let's say, weekly lab meetings. So it's really depends. It's very individual. It depends on the PI. So some other questions are regarding the funding and quality of life. So one of the questions was about the prospects for foreign students and funding opportunities available, quality of life and environments for bringing family along. So of course, we highly support the foreign students. We have over 55% of our student body, graduate student body, are international students. But regarding the funding, it's really most of our students shown here on the slide, about 70% of the students are funded by research assistantships, which are provided by the research grants or the PI funds. About 20% students coming to our department are funded through some additional fellowships. So they are either like international fellowships or through foundations or some programs. About 5% are the teaching assistantships. We provide them to students as a TAs. And there are also some other funding opportunities, which probably are in great minority. So it takes about 5% of the total. So generally, if you come to our department, so you will be working on the research which is funded by the grants, and you will be in most cases a research assistant, graduate research assistant, working on those projects and being funded through those projects. In case of the post-graduation job placement, there are several of the questions like this. So let me read those. Does UIUC have any programs collaborating with industry or national labs? What setting do most PhD graduates end up working in after leaving UIUC? I'm interested in doing an industry internship during graduate school. How common is that at UIUC? So great question. So as you can see over here in the graph about the postgraduate status, so after finishing the PhD program, the over 76, almost 77% of the students, former students, are working full-time. The over 21% are continuing postgraduate education. Either they go, for example, to medical school or some other schools, and only less than 2% are seeking employment. If we're talking about those who are working full-time and also doing postgraduate education, so if we look at the employer type, as you can see, over 65, almost 66% are hired by organizations, which includes actually the industry, right? So we are a very industry-focused program. Only about 30% continuing as a postgrad internships or postdoctoral fellowships to continue with the academic career, and very little are actually within the contract work. For example, I think it's around 1%. So majority of our students end up hired by organizations, including industry. So therefore, many of our faculty, they have experience with industry, either, for example, starting the startups company, or, for example, having the networks that they can support the students who are interested in doing industry job in the future. Regarding the internships, industry internships during graduate school, it's also quite common, I would say. Including my group, for example, I did have 2 graduate students who at some time they wanted to get industry experience, and during, for example, summer or several months during the program, so they did the industry internship. So it's a quite common, but it's good idea always to present this to your PI, like set the stage or present your kind of expectations. So this will be a good way to start the discussion early on.